today we have with us Khilan, who's the VP of Product at Razorpay, which I'm sure you all know about, and he has held a lot of senior leadership positions across his career. And he was with companies like Freebo, Tbox, Yahoo, and more. So lots of learnings across the spectrum. I'm sure you'll have a great time tonight. And coming to the topic of the night, I personally love this one because we are going to learn how to write a good product spec or a PRD. And as product managers, it's a superpower of sorts to know how to scope and spec your product really well. And you'll have a great time with your designers and developers if you're equipped with this skill.
By the way, all of these happen in real companies. There are companies where the PM builds a roadmap because the CEO or a founder has asked, because his or her manager has asked that let's go and build this feature, let's go and build this capability for our customers. Sometimes your largest customer just overpowers if he or she is driving 50-70% of your revenue and you end up building whatever the customer says. Sales business teams often are very articulate in describing a customer problem, and that convinces PM several times, even if that's not the right thing. A lot of times, at the end of it, even PMs love, exciting, shiny problems to be solved. So the right way to get to the right roadmap is focus on, what do you think is the organization's vision? From there, arrive at the organization strategy, and from there, typically arrive at goals and OKRs, multiple ways to do it. And after that is when you get to roadmap. And the more you try to short circuit this process, the more you could get it wrong. This is how Razorpay over the last couple of years, spends time throughout the year and a big spike to arrive at its strategy. PRD is of course the oldest and the most traditional form. Product spec is what I've seen a lot of internet companies call it. Concept note is something we started doing it I think 6-7 years back in multiple forums, and I think I've seen some companies pick that as well. 6-pager is Amazon's way of doing similar things. A lot of companies I know have adopted it. PRFAQ is again Amazon's. Multiple folks might be doing. Amazon's definitely popularized it. So different ways to arrive at finally a clarity on what problem are we solving and what does answer look like and what would it take to build the answer. So I think those are largely the 3-4 top level things that each of these documents will go ahead and try and address. I think there are multiple aspects of a product management job. I don't know if any creative folks want to decipher the slide. Please feel free to type on chat. I'm going to read that. What do you think I'm trying to convey here? What I've seen many product managers get wrong, right, is we could get the problem nailed perfectly. We could get the solution nailed perfectly. But if the rest of the team does not understand our worldview of what is the problem, what is the solution, it doesn't matter, because we are not the only one who's going to build and solve for this in the organization. Your engineers, your designers, your operations team, legal, marketing, sales, everyone together has to build the same common understanding and solve for it together. Which is why if you think it's 6 and the other party think it's 9, which means you've not done a great job at explaining your understanding, you're going to get it wrong no matter what. You've done a great job in problem discovery. It is important to document it really well and not to have any confusion on what you think is the user problem, is the potential solution, and is the way to build it and test it out. Why is it in many cases the voice of the PM and not the voice of the customer, and then you kind of get it wrong in many of the cases. You got to ensure your communication abstracts out and helps the rest of the team understand what the customer problems are, and they should not see this as your worldview. The more you build conviction in everyone on the problem and the solution, the better the chance of execution rigor and actually getting it out. Your documents need to, whether you call it spec, concept, or PRD, needs to answer why is this problem and product important. What are some of the building blocks of a good product spec? These are typically sections in Razorpay's concept note. Reference template, I think it's also shared by team earlier. But you can start by setting the context and the summary. Set clear objective and success criteria. Get everyone on the common understanding of the problem. Define who your customers are. Define the proposed solution. Clear out the assumptions that you have. Try and add flowcharts. add a requirement section which is missing over here. I should have added, and then put the go-to-market plan, put distractions, put future scope, potentially FAQ as well. Common mistake PMs do is they will think they are the user segment, that this is what they are facing the problem, so their customers are facing the same problem, right? And oftentimes you and I are more mature than most common users. So that is why we may never get to the root cause. So it is very important to look at data, speak to customers, segment even the problem further, that what set of customers are facing difficulty to move. Is it linked to a specific app, specific segment, geography, depth of the understanding of the user, all of that. So unless you do all of that, the chances that you might move the metric but by a very small quantum if you solve a very small problem somewhere or the other. So that's the first thing I will recommend as you folks are thinking through that particular problem. And the most common problem, by the way, I as a PM I made and I've seen most PMs make, is they think that they are the user. Just that is in 99.999% cases wrong. Loved it, folks. Thank you so much for taking Saturday evening and being very engaging and asking a lot of amazing questions and sharing your thoughts on this entire process and journey as I spoke about. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.